I'm 79 years old, and the people who hurt me the most were the ones I trusted the deepest. Not because they were cruel, but because I gave them pieces of my heart without knowing what those pieces were worth. I'm sitting by my kitchen window as I record this, watching the same maple tree I planted with my husband in 1974. Its branches are thinner now, so are my arms. Time has a way of quietly changing everything while you're busy living. People think trust is loud, grand gestures, big promises. But for women like me, trust was always quiet, soft, almost invisible, and I didn't know how to protect it, not until it was gone. When I was young, I believed love was something you proved by giving, not asking, not questioning, just giving. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, the kind where everyone knew your business before you did. My mother Ruth used to say, "A good woman makes people feel safe." I took that sentence and stitched it into my bones. By 16, I was the girl people told their secrets to. By 22, I was the one who stayed when others left. By 25, I was married to a man named Daniel, who had kind eyes and a loud laugh. I trusted him because he made me feel seen, or at least, I thought he did. Back then, I didn't know the difference between being noticed and being understood. In 1971, when Daniel and I bought our first house, I painted the kitchen yellow. He said it was too bright. I kept it anyway. I wanted the house to feel warm, even when life wasn't. I cooked every night, wrote him little notes, remembered what he liked in his coffee, and slowly, without realizing it, I started shaping myself around what made him comfortable. That was the first signal. I didn't call it trust, I called it love. But trust isn't about shrinking, it's about opening, and I didn't know the difference. The moment I first felt unsafe wasn't dramatic. No yelling, no slamming doors. It was quiet. I had been crying in the bathroom, sitting on the cold tile, hugging my knees. I don't even remember why. Maybe it was exhaustion, maybe loneliness, maybe both. Daniel knocked. "Are you okay?" he asked. I said yes. That was the second signal, because when a woman trusts you, she tells you when she's not okay, but I had learned to protect everyone else's comfort before my own truth. Years later, with a different man, his name was Leonard, I did something I'd never done before. I told him about my father, about how he left, about how I spent years thinking it was my fault. I didn't look at Leonard while I said it. I watched my hands instead. When I finished, he said nothing. Then he reached out and held my hand. I felt safe. That was the third signal. Trust, to me, wasn't flirting or passion. It was vulnerability. It was choosing to sit in silence with someone. It was letting them see you without makeup, without pretending, without armor. But I never told them that. I assumed they would just know. You don't realize you're giving parts of yourself away until you start feeling empty. By my 40s, I was tired, not physically, emotionally. I was the listener, the supporter, the forgiver, and no one ever asked what I needed. I didn't even know how to answer if they had. There's a moment I remember clearly. It was 1996. I was sitting at my kitchen table with Leonard, drinking tea. I said, "I don't feel like myself anymore." He laughed gently and said, "You worry too much." I smiled. That was another signal. When a woman stops correcting you, she's not agreeing. She's withdrawing. I didn't argue. I just got quieter. Years passed, and one day I realized no one really knew me, not the real me, because I had been too busy being safe to be honest. I trusted people with my tenderness, but I didn't trust them with my truth. There's a difference, and it cost me. Now at 79, I understand what trust really looked like in me. It was when I cooked for you not because I had to, but because I wanted to share my world. It was when I remembered your stories better than my own. It was when I told you about my fears in pieces, testing if you'd be gentle with them. It was when I asked you simple questions like, "Do you miss me?" That was never insecurity. That was vulnerability. And vulnerability is sacred. Mature women don't trust loudly. We trust softly. We watch. We listen. We notice. We give you small pieces of our inner world and see what you do with them. And if you treat them kindly, we give you more. But if you dismiss them, we retreat, quietly, gracefully, without drama. And by the time you notice we're gone, we've been gone for a long time. If a woman in your life opens up slowly, if she shares stories from her past, if she lets you see her when she's not strong, don't rush past it. That's not weakness. That's trust. And trust is rare. Don't waste it. If this story made you think of someone, reach out to them. Say something real. And if you want more stories like this, I'll be here.